Hey you, what up? Welcome to my channel, welcome back. I'm Maryam. Today it is actually, in fact, indeed, Faves X Fails time for the month of April, filmed in May. This is a video in which I talk about all of my favorite products for the month. I apply them to my face to show you rather than tell you why they are my favorites. Also, I talk about all the products that did not work for me so that it can help you make an educated choice when purchasing these products. So without further ado, remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can watch all of my Wednesdays and Sundays videos. And now let's get into this video, Faves X Fails. It's that time of the month. Let's hit it. I've got a long list of faves and fails. I feel like I have an equal amount of both for both categories. Let's start from the beginning. So this month I don't actually have a favorite primer, although I did test out the Kevin Aquan one. I didn't test it with any skin products that were actually good, so I couldn't determine whether that product was good. So I guess I'm gonna have to give it a couple more tries. So no favorite primer this month, but I do have a new favorite color corrector. And I am talking about the Exa Beauty High Fidelity Color Corrector. This one in the shade pink has been my new favorite obsession lately. It is a $27 product. Basically, this is the corrector that you can use underneath your concealer, especially in the under eye, to really brighten and lift the under eye area. Of course, these concealers also come in other shades, but unfortunately, I think I got rid of the shades that actually suit me. I was using the green and also the peach, so now all I'm left with is the deep peach and deep orange, which are clearly not meant for my skin tone. All right, so I am going to use the pink one because it's the only one I have, even though my skin is a little bit more sun-kissed than it usually is, because I did just come back from Puerto Rico a couple of days ago, and although I was wearing super high SPF, every day the sun is unavoidable. I am someone who tans very, very quickly and easily. Here I am, sun-kissed. Alrighty, this product I like. It is very, very easy to blend out. It is very, very easy to use, though this is my first time using it on this skin tone, so let's see if it still works. I'm sure it will. Well, I mean, that's bright, very, very bright, but don't worry. I'm gonna show you how I make it work, and I'm gonna show you why this is so great and why it's such a fave. Although for $27, I think it's kind of pricey. Anyways, I also have a new favorite concealer for the month, and it is from LAWLESS. It's called the Conceal the Deal Full Coverage Concealer. This one is really creamy, really nice. The shade that I've been using is Cashew, though again, I used this shade before I was sun-kissed, so hopefully this still works. But the idea is to apply this shade of concealer on top of the corrector so that you're sort of lifted from within. I'm gonna use my Rare Beauty concealer brush to blend this out. I'm gonna keep this edge sharp. Blend it out. Bring a little bit of concealer on top of my lid, along the sides of my nose. Really like this one, although it is a little bright. I shall make it work. All right, very quickly, I'm just gonna set the under eye with my one size because this concealer does crease rather quickly if you don't set it rather quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to prevent it from creasing. This by no means that it's a bad product or it's defective or anything. This is a normal phenomenon. Most creamy concealers do crease, though some not as quickly, but if you set them right away, then it's not a problem at all. Just gonna use my one size translucent setting powder and this Charlotte T brush, and just set this under eye area. Let's move on to complexion. I failed to mention, but I already am wearing the tiniest bit of Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Foundation, Skin Fetish. I'm just using a little bit on my forehead and a little bit on the perimeter of my face, but I didn't have anything in the center of my face, which is where I applied the concealer. But it is the tiniest amount, and I just wanted to do it off camera quickly so we don't waste too much time. But I'm not actually here to talk about that. I am actually here to talk about a fail product in the complexion category that I no longer have. I hated it so much, I got rid of it right away. I couldn't even keep it around for this video. I'm talking about the Mercier Light Revealer Illuminator Tinted Moisturizer. This guy for $48 is not a fave of mine this month. This product was extremely, extremely metallic on my skin. Tin Man metallic, and for someone with my skin texture, I am oily, I have enlarged pores because I am oily, I do have some acne breakouts, some bumps. This was just not a match. This was the worst kind of match possible, in fact. So when you apply something that is very shimmery and very very metallic onto problematic skin or textured skin. In fact, this product tends to emphasize and magnify all of the problem areas. So it was just not a hit for me. It looked really bad and I got rid of it right away because it was a fail for me. Plus it's $48. I feel like that is a really steep price for a tinted moisturizer with not a lot of coverage, and those are my thoughts. But just because I did not like the Laura Mercier Illuminating Tinted Primer does not mean that I did not love and thoroughly enjoy Laura Mercier's Tinted Moisturizer Blush. Now this is probably my favorite product of the month. This is so cool and so easy to use. It comes in multiple shades. It even has this really beautiful highlighter type of shade, the very beautiful golden bronzy one. So I'm gonna use them both. These are, let's see, $28. My favorite shade of the blush is called Provence, and it is just so stunning. So I'm gonna apply a tiny amount to my cheeks like that. And then what's great about it is that it is surprisingly very flexible and easy to use. You could blend this out with your fingers if you want, or with a foundation brush, or with like a blush brush. So I'm gonna use the Sigma Skin Perfector brush, kind of like a nice flat one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and gently blend that. So dainty, so pretty, so easy, not streaky. I always find that Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer products tend to be very streaky on me. But not this blush. This blush is really intuitive. It blends out super quickly and easily. And for such a light color, I feel like the amount of pigment that it provides, or actual color, is a really decent, really healthy amount. That it looks natural, it definitely adds to the face rather than take away from it. So I am a fan. All right, I'm gonna use the gold shade Soleil as a highlighter. I was using this one every day in Puerto Rico, or rather every night, because I didn't really wear much makeup in Puerto Rico during the day. And by the way, if you guys are interested in seeing what I did in PR, I documented everything on IG. I have IG reels of the makeup that I wore. I have my Puerto Rican flag petty that I did. I also have a whole bunch of recommendations that I posted. So if you're not following me on the gram, but you're interested to know a little bit more of like my personal life, or more of like my lifestyle content, that information you will find on the gram. I feel like this channel should stay strictly makeup related, which is why I no longer really vlog here. Although I used to. How much do we love that? I personally love it a lot. And there are so many cute shades. I have like 6 more shades that I still have to try. So they're all just sitting here waiting to be tested by me. But the 2 that I mentioned, Provence and Soleil, so good, my fave. Similarly, I also really loved Persona Cosmetics Super Blush in the shade Bubble. This one is really bright and vibrant, but it looks amazing on the skin. It is very cool, but because I'm a very warm skin tone, this provides a nice pop against my skin tone, so I was using this one a lot as well. Today, it's not really gonna go with my bronzy, corally, golden complexion that I'm going for, so I'm gonna put this one away, but just know that this one is also a fave and I love it. All right, I feel like I've been nice for a couple minutes now. Let's actually switch gears a little bit and let's talk about a fail for the month in the bronzer category. Sadly to say, I did not enjoy Fenty's Sunstalker Face and Eye Bronzer Highlighter Palette. The number one reason why I didn't enjoy this palette is the same reason why I don't enjoy Fenty's powder bronzers. They are just entirely too orange for my liking. None of these shades really work for me. And also, I thought that for a bronzer palette, the shade range here just wasn't wide enough. I don't really see who would benefit from this outside of a makeup artist, but if a makeup artist were to benefit from this palette, I just don't see this range as being good enough, quite frankly. This is a $48 product. Granted, I did enjoy the 2 highlighter shades. They are very blinding, but the bronzers are just not my cup of tea. I didn't like them when Fenty first came out with them, and I still think they're just a little too Fanta orange for me. Sorry, not sorry. I'm actually gonna quickly set the rest of my face because I did not do that. And I want to make sure I add just a little bit of powder. This one, Bare Minerals Mineral Veil Press Setting Powder in sheer medium. Just want to add a little bit onto my forehead because, you know, I'm oily and I do produce quite a bit of shine. So I just want to tame that down a bit, you know? And now let's move on to some eye primers. This month I actually did test out a number of different primers, some of which I really liked, others that I didn't like so much. All right, so the number one primer that I liked was from Dominique Cosmetics. This one is $12. It's called the Everlasting Eye Base, 24-hour crease proof. I like the fact that this one adds a little bit of color, so it can easily act as a color corrector as well. You don't need a lot of product, probably less than what I just applied on, but it works. And I like it. I'm gonna quickly blend that out with a brush just to make sure it is evenly spread across my lid. And then I'm gonna talk about the next eye primer that I really liked from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This one is $20, and this one is a squeezy tube, but it actually has a wand. This one is a little bit lighter in color, but it still offers color. It is a little bit more liquidy, and the finish of this is just a pinch more matte, but I do like both. This one, I will say, is a pinch grippier. This one is a pinch more smoothing, but both have been working great for me. And now that I have two favorite eye primers for the month, I must mention a fail, and kind of like an epic fail at that. I am talking about the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Primer. So this is a $24 product, squeezy tube, also with a wand. This was very weird to me. Upon my initial application of this product, it felt like a primer. It acted like a primer. I didn't see any difference between this and any other clear primer that I would use for my eyes as a base for my eyeshadow. But the problem with this is that it actually changed the formulation, or it changed the feel of the eyeshadows that I was using on top of it. So I used this with the Dose of Colors Truffle eyeshadow palette, which is very, very pigmented. It turned the eyeshadows into a cream. They were no longer powdery. They became really, really difficult to work with, really difficult to blend out, almost like a moussey type of formulation, just really, really strange. And I did not like that one bit. Then I also used the Too Faced Sunset Strip palette with this primer, and it seemed to work a little bit better because Too Faced shadows are on the drier side, but still, it wasn't something that I was expecting, therefore I didn't really know how to work with it. Then after publishing that video, I think it was like a trying or testing new makeup video, I noticed a lot of comments of people saying the same thing, that this is really difficult to work with, that it definitely does change the formula, that apparently you're supposed to let this sit on your eye for at least 5 minutes. Ain't nobody got time for that. Definitely not me, most certainly not you. So for me, this is a fail, and it is an epic fail at that. Sorry, not sorry. So we're gonna move on to eyeshadow palettes. So now this month we've had a number of eyeshadow palettes. Like I said, the Dose of Colors Truffle eyeshadow palette that I did like. Not to say that it is my favorite. It is a nice color story, kind of on the cool side, which is refreshing because we've been seeing so many warm palettes over the past few years. So now that the trends are shifting a little bit towards cool, it's nice to see, but it's nothing that I hadn't seen before. So although this is good, although the formula is nice, I will say I like this palette. I didn't love this palette. Next up, we've got the Pat McGrath X Bridgerton palette. This one is quite pricey, $65 for only 6 pans. I mean, this is a good quality eyeshadow palette. Does it scream Bridgerton? Outside of that golden beetle, I don't really see it. This doesn't scream Bridgerton to me. In fact, I don't really get the color combo. I thought that it was a pinch on the boring side. I was expecting more. And even though I'm not a huge fan of the second season of Bridgerton, I do love the first for obvious reasons. But I don't know, this was kind of like a blah palette from Pat. And for $65, I can't say that it is worth it. I can't say that. But the quality of the eyeshadows is great as always. So I guess if you like these colors, maybe you like this palette. Just my thoughts about it. Next up, we had 2 palettes from Huda Beauty from the Color Block collection. We had the blue and green, and we also had the orange and purple. Each of these is $29. They look kind of fun. I found that this palette, the green and blue, was a lot easier to work with just because these colors are close on the color wheel. They're not necessarily opposites, so they're really easy to blend into each other. They don't make a hot mess. Whereas the orange and purple, I said in that video reviewing these palettes that this palette absolutely needs a pink in order to make it work. Unless you're creating really graphic lines with this palette, the colors don't blend into each other. Nowhere in this universe does orange blend well into purple. In fact, when they blend together, they look really muddy and they clash. So to me, although this is a great idea, it's a little bit too ambitious. So I didn't like this color story, but the eyeshadows themselves were pretty decent quality. This one was for sure easier to work with. But one thing that I did enjoy about both is that it had this unique cake liner eyeshadow right here, and this one, when activated with water, turns into a liquid liner, and in this one it's the purple one here. It's kind of what I've been using them for, though I can't say I've been dipping into any of the other colors. Last but not least, I did mention the Too Faced Sunset Strip palette. I liked that palette upon my first impression, but then again, I've seen those colors before, not just from Too Faced, but also from numerous other brands. It just didn't feel innovative. It just didn't feel very current. It was okay, but not the best. And finally, we've got the new Jaclyn X Her Mom palette. This one right here that I literally just reviewed only a few days ago, so I hadn't had a chance to really play around with it, but my initial impression of it was very good because I do like the giant pans and I did enjoy the quality of the eyeshadows. I thought they were very easy to work with. This at $49, although not the most affordable thing in the world, I gotta say it was probably my favorite of the bunch because everything else was kind of just okay. And not to say that this is fantastic by any means. Like personally right now, I'm not drawn to this color palette. This is very fall to me, and Mother's Day is clearly in May. I think I will like it a lot more in the fall is what I'm saying, but the quality is good. So that is kind of like my story on the eyeshadow palettes. Nothing that is really truly solidly in the faves category, nothing that's truly in the fails. Everything kind of just fell in between. Everything was okay. I'm gonna keep it very chill for today, so I'm gonna use this Wayne Goss 04 brush, dip into this shade here, So Lucky. I have not tried this one. I'm just gonna add a little bit of dimension and definition to my eye socket. Lift that up a little bit towards the tail end of the brow. Kind of like that. Easy peasy. Next, I'm gonna go for the shade here called Biscuit on my finger. I'm gonna add that to the center of the lid. The shimmery shades in this palette are so buttery. They're really easy to work with. They're not texture enhancing one bit, which is great because Jaclyn's mom actually picked these shades, and I'm assuming also the formulations. So if you are someone who is a little bit more mature, and if you're afraid of shimmery eyeshadows, don't. These are extremely forgiving. And also they apply just as easily with a brush as they do with your finger. Either one will do. That's it. I'm gonna close that out for now. Next thing I'm gonna do, I guess dip into the Pat McGrath X Bridgerton palette because it has some very sparkly shades. So I'm gonna add a little bit of sparkle to the center of this lid. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but these are two totally different eyeshadow formulas. This one has really fine but very noticeable glitters, like microfine sparkles, which is what I really love about Pat McGrath shadows in general. Her microfine sparkly eyeshadows are the best. And this is just so pretty. For daytime, for like a casual little brunch, I love it. But do I love the palette enough just because of that one shade? I don't know if I do. But will I get rid of it? Absolutely not. It's Pat McGrath. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do now is actually reach for this cake liner in the purple palette. Sadly, I don't think this blue is gonna go with my vibe today, but the purple will. What I'm gonna do here is take this Dose of Liner fine brush. I'm gonna use a little bit of setting spray directly into the cake liner. And the setting spray that I'm using is the Jaclyn X Robin one that I'll talk about in a bit. And what I'm gonna do here is what I always do. I'm gonna do something fun. I'm gonna add a little bit of this light purple liner. It's like barely noticeable because it is a very light shade, but it is so easy to use and so easy to work with. I kinda want Huda to come out with just separate cake liners. I think this would be a really nice addition to the Huda Beauty line. I would just love to see more colors because this is really fun. It's easy. All right, moving on to some liners actually, not cake liners, not eyeshadow liners, but just actual liquid and pencil liners that I do love this month. Number one, I am loving the new Jaclyn Cosmetics inline eyeliners from the same collection with her mom. These were really great. So the reason why I like these is because even though they are gel type liners, they go on absolutely matte. They don't have that wet, slick finish. They just go on matte. They stay matte and they stay all day. So you could line your waterline with these, or you can use them to kind of like map out your eye shape, which is what I did in my previous video. There's a lot you could do with these and I thought they were great. I'm gonna use the shade Smooth Blackberry. I think it is like a marooned brown. I'm gonna add a little bit of that to my lower lash line and also to the inner corner and connect with the top lash line. Super easy. I'm gonna grab a little tiny brush and just smudge out the liner on the bottom and also extend it a bit in a double wing like that. I think I need just a little bit more to really extend. Just like that. All right, and the next liner that I'm gonna talk about that I really liked was actually from Benefit, and it's their new Extreme Precision Liner in the shade brown and black, I think, but I've been using them both. They're both really, really easy to use. Basically what I'm gonna do with this liner is just sharpen this outer wing like that. And because it is so precise, it makes it super easy to do this kind of detail work. Although, the problem with these is that you always kind of have to warm them up on the back of your hand. But once you do, they work fine. And then I'm gonna just sharpen the inner portion here, the top of the inner portion, like that. And just so there's no gaps. Fun. There was one more liner that I was loving from Makeup Forever, the Aqua Resist Color Ink. Also, I love the shade brown. I thought it was really, really, really easy to use, super precise. Dippy liner that I really love. This one, I believe, is $26. I'm gonna use that just to add a little bit of extra dimension here. All right, time for my favorite mascara. First, I'm gonna curl my lashes. I think I need to elongate my purple wing. It's just looking a little too short next to the brown one. So I'm gonna go back to the cake liner and I'm gonna elongate it like that. Perfect. Another thing that's really cool about the cake liner is that you can add more product on top without it actually turning crusty or weird or cracking or peeling on you. So it's really artistry friendly, I would say. The only thing is my wings don't match, but you forgive me. Moving on to the mascara. This month, I am loving the new Essence Double Trouble Mascara. I don't know how much it is, but I imagine it is not very much because Essence's mascaras are generally on the affordable side. Just fetch the cat hair out of my mascara. That's nice. So this kind of has a gimmicky wand. It is bristles on one side and then tiny little caterpillar-like sticks on the other side. I don't even know how to describe it, but basically I don't use the caterpillar-like side. I just use the bristles and I just run it through my lashes. This is waterproof and it was working really well for me in PR where it's humid. Although I can't say it was much more humid than New York. I got lucky because usually when we go to PR it is very hot and it is very humid, but this time it was kind of like the best weather ever. But anyway, this is the mascara that I was using every night for going out and I really, really like it. I like the fact that it is very easy to work with. It is very buildable. It doesn't weigh down the curl. It makes my short little lashes more visible and it works quickly, meaning that you don't have to dip and double dip a million times back into the tube. But I'm a fan of this one. I gotta say, I used to be a huge fan of Maybelline mascaras, but I think Essence has really stepped up their game, and I must mention, I can't not say it, but their mascaras have been my favorite. I think they've outbeat all of my favorite Maybelline mascaras. I am loving Essence mascaras more than Maybelline mascaras, damn it. Yes, I do. All right, moving right along to, well, let's actually talk about the setting spray from Jaclyn Cosmetics in collab with Robin, her mom. This setting spray and I did not agree. I watched it on camera and this was the type of product that unfortunately made my complexion look more oily and less flawless after I applied it on. So this tells me that this dewy formula and I are just not a great match. This is a $28 product. If you are someone who is dry or normal skin type, you will probably like it because you need the extra moisture or the extra dew in your skin. But because I am already oily and I produce a lot of oils, this was just counterintuitive for me, so I can't use it. But I am using it to warm up my eyeshadows and my cake liners from Huda Beauty. Kind of like a personal fail, but not necessarily a fail product. All right, let's move on to lips. You guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I truly believe that the best lip products are from the drugstore. You don't need to go far. You don't necessarily need to go to Sephora to get the best lip products out there. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money. And this month, I am proving that once again. I have been loving the new L'Oreal Glow Paradise Balm lipsticks. This shade here, Peach Charm, is so beautiful. It's so pretty. It feels so easy on the lips. I love the hint of color that it provides. I love the scent. It smells very tropical, very fresh. It feels so comfortable on the lips, and it just adds something nice. So I have been really, really liking this one. I believe it is in the $10, $11 range, perhaps 12. They have multiple different shades, and honestly, I can't complain. Similarly, from the drugstore, I also really like the Physicians Formula Plumper Gloss. This one is $7 to $9, just depending on the retailer. This one doesn't necessarily plump, but the shade of this is so beautiful. Champagne Cushion Cut. Such a beautiful shade, such a flattering, universal shade. You could wear alone or on top of another lipstick. It looks good, it feels good. I can't complain. Those are my faves for the month of April, and also some fails. I want to hear from you guys. What were some of your favorite products for the month? What are some of the products that have not worked for you recently? Sound off, comment below. Let's talk, let's converse, and let's share our findings. I am going to wrap up this video. I'm going to zoom out, and you are going to click on my next two videos right here. I put them there for a reason, so click, click. Peace out.